This is Charlotte Street in the Sydney suburb of Ashfield. For most of the people who live in its houses, it's their piece of Australia. But in the dreams of a few, the unremarkable pavements of Charlotte Street ring with the sound of 1,000 jackboots stepping out to the most infamous march in the history of the world. And to enter the headquarters of the National Socialist Party of Australia is to enter a world one had thought was dead. Here there are skeletons in the cupboard, and they're ominous ones. 6 men live here. For them, the party headquarters are as much a physical home as a political one. They're the elite, the professionals, living by the discipline of the barracks and planning an Australia which will live by a similar discipline. This room is all that there is so far of the Australian Reich. Here the leader, Arthur Smith, organises his campaign and briefs stormtroop commanders and group leaders. There are few smiles in this room, and those that are not the same as ours. Here the names of the elite are on record, and from this office issue the party's orders, its admonitions, and its propaganda. This is not a Munich beer hall 40 years ago, it is Ashfield today. These men hold the ranks and command a structure modelled on Hitler's party, and the same old tired, scurrilous pamphlets are on hand for those who want slogans to live by. It's as if no one here had thought for 40 years. And even then, most of these old fictions of race and colour are second-hand, the outpourings of Lincoln Rockwell in the United States and Colin Jordan in Britain. But for those who want to hate people rather than disagree with opinions, they're fresh enough. Two nights a week, the Nazi eagle spreads its wings and the party's first chickens come home to roost. If their estimate of 250 members in Australia is an accurate one, the roll call at this week's meeting did little to confirm it, though we were warned that some members and sympathisers are camera shy. Still, a dozen came to hear what it's all about, but it was hardly Nuremberg. In the best tradition of rather larger rallies, the uniforms were on hand to suggest something or other, and the audience was warmed up for the leader by the Stormtrooper Commandant General, Brian Raven.
Heil Hitler! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow National Socialists. Brotherhood is for mongrelizers, not for National Socialists, nor the people who are proud, instinctively proud of having a race that they can call their own. But how many of us now are coward that we talk in terms of Asiatics, Negroes, apartheid, all of these things we're speaking about every day, but we're afraid, mortally afraid, speaking on general principles, mortally afraid to express our true desires regarding our own race. Afraid, why? Why? Because we've been conditioned to believe that brotherhood is the only way of survival throughout the world. These things are not true. The leader of the National Socialist Party of Australia, one of the few people who has stood up for many, many years and fought in the interest of the white people and has been rejected by them on countless times, but he never built any coward's castle about himself and took the easy way out by joining one of the established parties. One of the cowardly people who he's fighting against can go behind parliamentary privilege. No, not our leader, Mr. Arthur C. Smith, the leader of the Australian National Socialist Party.
Good evening, friends, comrades. I'm extremely pleased to see so many young faces in our audience, because fundamentally National Socialism is a political creed, a political philosophy, not for the old and the have-beens, but for the youth and the young people of our nation. We are not ashamed to get up and say Young people of Australia, we need you. Young people of Australia, we want you. Because basically the National Socialist Party don't want you, but Australia does. And we, one day, will represent Australia. But if the nation stands firm and united, with one will, with one desire, that the nation is first and foremost, then nothing can smash us, nothing can destroy us. And 10 million, 11 million people in Australia could stand worthily tomorrow and face the opposition of 100 million people to the north of Australia. These people present no problem in any case. The problem is not the outside masses of coloured peoples. The problem is those people within our own country who are white-anting the country. In every facet of life we see them.
I was more than mildly interested to learn what it could be that would bring an audience for such a discredited cause.
Why do you come to National Socialist meetings?
Well, to start off, I'd have to tell you how I come across National Socialism. I live not far from the headquarters, and I saw the gentleman walking the street, and we stopped and chatted, and from then on I've always been interested in what they're trying to do for the welfare of the country.
What are they trying to do?
Well, they're trying to bring about improvements which are almost impossible under any other organisation.
What sort of improvements do they have in mind?
Well, betterments for all organisations and for the working class people.
What about you? Why are you interested in National Socialism?
I've been living there for about 2 months now, and I found out they were pretty good blokes. When I learnt they were under this Nazi symbol, I just wondered what they were doing, and come in and found out, and I found out they weren't Germans or nothing. Pretty good blokes, all Aussies.
You're not worried about the Nazi symbol?
No, not now. I was at the start.
Why were you worried at the start?
Oh, well, I didn't know nothing about it, and I thought it was just German, like what happened in the war.
And this doesn't worry you any longer?
No.
What about you? Are you worried by the Nazi symbol?
I still am worried a bit, but after it's been explained to me, well, I'm growing to understand why it is used.
What about your parents? Do they mind you coming here?
No, my parents don't know, as a matter of fact.
The leader, as Arthur Smith is so determinedly addressed by his followers, claims to have been on the fringe of politics for many years.
Mr. Smith, as a National Socialist, what exactly are you getting at?
Well, I don't know what you mean by what we're getting at. We've a political party, a legal political party. National Socialism is the white man's standpoint. We're fighting for the survival and the maintenance of our white race.
In what way are you fighting?
Well, we're not fighting at the moment, but we intend to fight by getting candidates elected to Parliament and changing the things that need changing that way.
You place a lot of emphasis on the symbols of Nazism. What exactly is your attitude towards Hitler?
Well, we consider Hitler to have been the actual inventor of National Socialism, and we recognise him virtually as the patron saint of the white race and the prophet of the white race. He was the one that gave us the lead on what was actually going on and how the white races were due to be eventually wiped out.
I take it then that you were in favour of basically what Hitler did?
It depends what you mean, basically what Hitler did. Yes, I'd say yes, we are in favour of what Hitler's policy, how his policies were, yes, certainly.
Even the final solution directed against the Jews?
Well, we don't believe there was a final solution directed against the Jews.
You're about the only people who don't, then?
No, I wouldn't say that. We're the only people who have got the courage to stand up and say that we don't believe it. There are millions who don't believe it.
What's your story, then?
Well, we say that there were no 6 million Jews exterminated simply because there weren't 6 million Jews within Adolf Hitler's reach.
And everyone else is wrong on this except you.
I wouldn't say everybody else was wrong on this. Unfortunately, we don't have the mediums of propaganda that the Jews do have to give the other side of the story.
Can I put it to you that all this business of uniforms and swastikas is really rather childish?
Well, you can put it to me, but the thing is I reject it, simply because I lead a political organisation, and for tactical reasons I follow certain tactical lines. It distinguishes National Socialists, it gives them a sense of belonging, and it's good for discipline.
Makes them feel tough?
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily it makes them feel tough.
Makes them look tough?
No, most of our fellows are tough.
Do you want to fight people physically?
No, not particularly. We don't. But we're quite prepared to protect ourselves if necessary.
Do you feel any sense of shame in wearing the swastika emblem?
I don't feel any shame. No, none whatsoever.